Hello, wonderful people. We're going to disassemble this desk and package it back up for shifting or removal, whatever you've got plans for it. I'm going to show you how to take this desk apart and put it back into the box that it came in. We're going to do this in a few different steps. We're going to disassemble the desktop first, and we'll wrap all that up, pop it back into the boxes. You can see here I've already got the accessory box out with the different bags that things came in, and then we will package up the trunk and the base, and we'll put it all into the big box and show you how it all slots together. So let's get started. The first step we're going to do is roll this desk out from wherever you've got it. You can grab the small bits that are easy to move and to fall. So we've got the lids on the desktop and on the trunk. We'll pop the trunk lid in the box first, and then we'll trunk this other desktop lid in next. We're going to need this hammer in a second, so we'll get that guy out and we'll make room. So here I have all the different little bags that we'll put things into. The next step is we'll better unplug it from the wall so that we're not getting into trouble there. And our first piece to take apart is the back piece here. So you might want to grab the silver screw that you can take that off with. I'm going to grab my drill because I have it handy. I'm just going to hold this here and pop that there whilst I take that off. This bit goes on the diagonal in this box, and the screws go into the screw bag. These are the small screws, the two small screws. There we go. Okay, and then this guy can hustle off over here. The next step is to drop the desktop all the way down to the bottom. So remember to tilt and then push it down, because we need to get the weights out of here. And so this is where those tabs come in useful. So the first weights you pull out are the ones with the tabs on the end. Grab one there, pop it straight back into the weight box. Grab the other one with a tab, pop it into the weight box as well. And then I can grab the other two, pop that into the weight box as well, and we can leave those there. Now, the desktop has no weight in the weight box, so we can take that off, but it's going to be quite heavy. So at this point, I definitely recommend you get someone to help you lifting on either side. I've done this a million times, as you can imagine. So I'm just going to do it myself whilst I'm here, but I do not recommend this. You want to grab one person on either side, lift it all the way up and off, and that weight rope should just click off, and we will move that over to the side so it's out the way, and then bring this over here, pop this straight down, and we're going to unscrew the front piece here. No, we're not. We're going to rotate it over first. And from here, and then we're going to take this apart. So underneath here you've got this cable which is connecting to the power box, so we want to unclip that first. That's really important. You've got these two clips either side, and you want to squeeze down. So if I rotate that this way, you can see that there's these two things here that you can squeeze, and you can see the arms, as I squeeze, the arms opening out. So that's got to open out, and then you can use the end of this power just to pull it out, and that gets it loose. We want to push that through the hole here, and from there, theoretically, we should be able to pull this all the way forward and off. Boom, off that comes. Then we'll grab the mallet, and we're going to just knock this. This is the jammer. We're just going to pull it this up, and then just gently, well, relatively firmly, knock it from one side, then the other side, and you'll see it comes out. This goes into the accessory box on the angle as well. And whilst we're in the accessory box, we'll grab this tool here. We'll pop this back down here, the mallet. We'll pop it down because that's not required anymore. We can pull out this cable from its tracks, roll that up. It's a nice circle. Oops, pop that into the accessory box. Then we're going to flip this back over, and you might have the little clips that have clipped over this. You just need to use your the edge of a knife or something just to flick those off, and those will pop off. Then you've got your orange tool, and you get in here and you go anti-clockwise on the angle, pushing it forwards quite a bit, anti-clockwise, and rotating it so it's loosening and coming out, and then the other side as well. Just a little bit of force, not too much, and you're holding it on the other side here. So holding it, pulling it this way, and then pushing this one the opposite way, just a little bit, and then spinning it, rotating it until it comes loose, and then the same ones down the bottom. Anti-clockwise and anti-clockwise. From here, we have everything we need to package up these. So we're going to flip that over actually, so it's never facing this way down, because it will get it scratched. We'll use this in a second as well, so we'll leave that there. I'm going to grab, remember that medium-sized box? That's where this comes in useful. We're going to pop that there. We're also going to grab the weight box, pull that out, and get the pulley. Pop this here. This pulley can go into the accessory box. Just find a gap for it, throw it in there. Now this rope can get curled up into a ball and dropped inside. This then sits in here like so, and this you want the weight box to be all the way down one end, because the front riser piece has those dowel that you've got there. You want to rotate that over so that the dowel fits in between. And what happens next is that we then rotate that up, and you just slot this down into that box. Sometimes it makes it easier just to pop it this way, push that to the end, and you've got your first box full up. Pop that over, grab the tape, tape that up. Just go on one halfway across, and then I bring it over, pull it tight together, and flick it over, and that box is now good to go. So we'll put that to the side. Nice one, well done. Then what we can do is flip this over and we can use this tool again to get into these screws here and rotate them out. So again, we're going anti-clockwise, lefty loosey, righty tighty. And we'll get this other one done. So these are those bigger screws. Captain Obvious, Bart. Captain Obvious. Good, we've got those. We can put those into the screw bag as well. We can do that screw bag up, just fold it over, pop that into the accessories box. We can pop this into the accessories box as well because we no longer need that. Now you just lift this up so that the pressure's off the end here. You see that that will slide, and you want to rotate that through gently. Just being careful you don't knock it. Pop it down on a nice flat bit of ground. And then we'll go bottom side down on here. And this is where it's so important to know that your floor is not got anything that can mark it on it. All right. So we put these together so that the hollowed, like the pocketed bits we call them, these half depth cuts, and this round bit are on the outsides on both of those. And we'll get the pieces of cardboard that we used on those. So we'll get the tape. Now you might be using any tape for this, don't worry about using the same tape that we have. But it can be useful. So this one here, this piece here, this hole, the bigger of the two internal holes, wraps around, so we'll feed that through here and pop that over, grab a little bit of tape. You might only have sellotape, and that's fine. It's not the end of the world. And then get this one to wrap around here as well. Now, this gets a little bit tricky because it actually gets wider as you go towards the top. So there'll be a certain height where this fits. And you want to grab a little bit of tape again. Tape that over. You've got to poke your tongue out when you're doing this because it helps you concentrate. Science, scientific facts. All right, that's that bit done. We'll put that to the side. Now we're going to do the desktop. I'm going to grab the piece of cardboard that we had for the desktop. Make a bit of space over here, pop that down on the ground. This one's got a bit of a tear in it, but never mind. Then you want to have the top facing down and the bottom facing up, because if it gets a bit scratched in transit on the underside, it's much less of a problem than if it gets scratched on the top, isn't it? You might have some tape left over here, so you can just use that tape, squish it down. Use that tape, squish it down. Use this tape here, squish it down, and we'll get a little bit more tape for that last one. Over here, on the edge, tape it to the ground. And we've got that sorted. So I'm going to pop this over here as well. behind that. And let that sit there. All right, now we've got the trunk and base. So let's turn this over. I'm gonna just put my foot here so that I can rotate it over. Bring it right forward to there. Then we've got that other bit, or the hammer. Losing my words. And you want to hook in there and just see if you can get that out. So one of the ways you can do that is with the bird. So you can hook its nose in and rotate it out. You'll find whichever one has the most gap. So it's a bit hard for you to see from that angle, but I just found one that I could fit that whole bird's head into and then rotate it outwards. Once you've got one, then you use the end of that to squeeze in, and you can knock it out until it just pops out. Let's see if I can get a better angle of that. Pop that down on the ground. So you can see that nicer. So these ones are both too tight, so this didn't fit in fully. But there was one there that I could fit this in fully. But essentially all you're doing is jamming the head in and rotating it against like a crowbar. You can see that that starts to move out. Once you've got one of these out, then you just use the pin and you get it on the angle and you just gently knock it out. This one here is quite close, so we can see if we can get it out on the angle. Is that moving? Doesn't really want to move, so we can hit it from the other end. Still moving? No? Well, let's try dropping down on it like this. That squeezes it out a bit more. Gives us better leverage so we can hit it on this angle. And that should be able to wriggle out from there. Now we've got our 3 and 4 base pegs. Jeepers. And we can pop those into the bag that says base pegs. And we can pop that into the accessory box. Boom, like that. Pop that booklet into the accessory box. All right, so now we should be able to lift this up a little bit, and we can either, you've got a choice here, you can either try to wiggle it off, or you just rotate it, and then you should be able to lift this straight up. And now you've got your base and your trunk disattached. I'm putting monitor screws in there and the covers in there as well. So we can pop this to the side. Beauty. We'll get the feet for the base. We're going to take the long foot. You might find that these will be the same length, but the long foot we're going to take over the right one. And the short foot with the closure we'll put over the left one. Just need to find a way to fit that all in there together. And it should just slot over into the end. The hammer can now go into that. We might just need to jiggle that around a little bit. And we'll put that to the side whilst we grab our big box. Bring this into the middle. Open it up. Open it up. Open it up. First step is to get the trunk in. So I like to lift the trunk over, just do things slowly. Drop that down, and then you want to, the end that has the pin holes, or the peg holes to the base, you want that to be, away from the end. You want to push it down the other way as far as possible. And you want one side to be flat to that side. Then we're going to put the desktop in. The back of this faces the outside, so there'll be one side here where you have quite a gap because you've pushed the trunk to the one side. The side that has the gap is the side that this goes in, and this uncovered side goes against the outside of the box. So we're going to lift this up and over, pop it down close to the side, and push it down again to one end as far as it will go. From there, we will grab our box. Our box, by our box, I mean our base. Whew, struggling with words today. We're going to pick this up and over. Now this long end goes down in the gap that you've created down in this corner here. So it sits right on the bottom, and then the leg, this leg with its cover, sits on top of the trunk. Then we grab our big box, and we sit that down this end on top of the leg of the base, and that sits nice and flat. We can grab our side risers, and they slot down between it's actually quite a tight fit down through there. The idea is that they sit down there, but let's find another way to do that. Why is that not working? It's just a bit tight, I think. So let's pop these in first then, on the side next to the desktop, and then you can slide this into place afterwards, and that should mean that it's locked there quite solidly. From there, we just need to make sure that our this can all fit, so we need to get some space in here for the trunk. Oh, sorry, for the trunk, bloody hell. For the mallet, I'm putting that next to the lids, and then you've got everything else on the angle, everything fitting in there, booklet across the top, and I'm going to rotate that over. I'm just pushing the mallet down so it sits flat, so you might notice it won't sit flat. And then we'll pull that over, we'll get a bit of tape, just so that's enough just to hold it together. Perfection. This can now go over in here and slot in front of the base. Kind of stops the base from slopping around too much in transit. We can pop these ends in. Pop the ends in. Pull this over. Pull this over. You have the Limber logo on top. You see the tape where it used to be taped. We're going to go along the edges here. So we're going to go just check for length. That looks about right. Tape it halfway over the end, and then just squeeze this box together. Pull this tape tight. Don't want that to go over the fragile tape, so I'll leave that there. Roll that over, Boom, done. On that side, then we do the other end. How you feeling? Getting through it? Can be a little bit sweaty sometimes if it's hot. But hey, a bit of movement's good for you, right? Just pull that in tight. Your body will be loving this movement, even if your mind's not. Such is the way of movement sometimes. Body loves it, mind had better days. So we're taping it from one end all the way down. Rolling that over the end. And it's tight across the top. Don't worry if there's any creases. Rolling that around. And that'll connect down and hold that all together. And then we just need to tape up the weight box. Get rid of these extra bits of tape. They're not useful. Fold that over. This is a tough one, you just want to double tape it and go across both ends and do that twice so that it holds it real solid, because these weights are so heavy that we don't want them to break out and hurt someone, one of the couriers or something in transit. And that is your desk packaged and ready for its next destination.